Hi, I'm Ron Paulk, and all of the videos of the Smart Woodshop were lost. That's right, so this is a warning. Be sure to back up your data, not once, but twice. I use or have used the Drobo drives, which are RAID, 5 drives, 8 terabytes each, and I can lose any one of the drives and just replace it. And I've had them die before. Drives do fail. But I can hot swap them, pull them out, stick in a new one. Takes a few hours, but it'll rebuild, and then everything is good. But a RAID is not a backup. It just helps you from hardware failure for a particular drive. So you need a backup. Well, I had a backup. It was a NAS drive, a network attached drive, also from Drobo, which had failed, and I replaced it with a new Drobo drive, and we could not ever get it to work with Time Machine, even though specifically it was designed for that. Took about 6 months, finally gave up and sent it back to Drobo and got my money back, and picked up one from Synology and started to work on the backup, but hadn't got it. It was a new system, hadn't got the backup built yet, but I still had my original. And then I went away on a trip, and the trip was, to the East Coast to New York, and then I came back and then went off to Southern California, photo trips, and finally got back and pulled my Drobo out of the safe, hooked it up, and it worked for a day or two. And prior to that, I had finished 20 of the 33. Now there were 34 days, but early on I skipped one because it was just too much repetition. So I was down to 33, and I promised everybody 33 videos. No way to redo them because the Smart Woodshop is done. So not going to take it apart and redo it. And so this has been a few weeks, probably more like a month ago. And I had all 20 uploaded with the additional 13 to do. And so I've been working on that since, trying to see what I could do. I had 18 terabytes of data. That's 18 terabytes of everything I've ever done. Every photograph I've taken has been digitized since the early 80s, late 70s. And every house I've ever designed, the workbench plans, every remodel, all of that was all part of that 18 terabytes, including all of the videos that I have ever done for YouTube and the unedited videos for the Smart Woodshop. Well, one of the 5 drives, had a critical failure. Now, not a big deal because I have redundant drives so I can swap it out, but it was a little different message, so I contacted tech support. I have paid tech support, and they had me do a diagnostics file and send it in, and the senior techs looked at it and said, bad news, it can't be recovered normally, and there's a good chance it can't be recovered at all. And then what you need to do, and they sent me an email with a long list of things, of a certain way to shut it down, and then to pull that drive, and they from the diagnostics, they told me which drive it was, and then to have that drive block level cloned. But there was no guarantee that once the clone was done and I reintroduced it, that it would work. Now, the way RAID works is, even though it was only one drive, I can't recover the data from the other 4. It's a unit, it's a stack. So they recommended a company that is nationwide, Drive Savers, and I contacted them, and they said, okay, we know what you're dealing with, and you can send it in, and we can attempt to do this, but there's no guarantee it's going to work. And that's level 1, or actually that would have been level 2 for me, which is about $700 to $800 to have that done. Plus, I had to buy a new drive, and those drives of that size, I'm using high level drives, they're not your typical desktop drives. These drives are for enterprise. In fact, that's what they're called, enterprise drives. And so they're a little over 300 a piece. So I had to get a new drive and send the old drive in, the two of them together, for them to clone the critical failure drive to the new one. But before that, level 1, I took it into a local data recovery firm to have them do it for quite a bit less. And they had it for a few days and they could not do it, and they said, we're going to stop here because every time we try, there's possibility of more damage. So then I went to level 2, which to send it off to Drive Savers, and they did the clone. Took a couple of weeks, but I got it back. And then I had to put it in the Drobo, reinsert it in the Drobo, and then there was a list of things on that email to do, popping all the drives, doing some restarts, doing a bunch of stuff. I followed everything, and then I'm getting all of these red flashing lights. Well, part of the instructions was to then do another diagnostics file, email it in, and then they were going to talk to me. So I did that, and level 3, if this didn't work, would be to send in the entire Drobo with the stack, the rest of the drives, as well as the cloned drive and the drive that had the critical failure, and then they would do the recovery from there. That level was going to cost about $8,000 to $12,000, and I was going to pay it. Fortunately, even with all those red lights, the Drobo tech support got them on the phone. We'd already done the diagnostics file. We did a few things, and then we restarted, and still funny lights, but that was okay. Another restart, a few other things, just doing what I was told with the guy on the phone, and I got all greens, so I had my data back. So yes, I have all of my files back. Now the first thing I did was to make a copy of everything, not a backup, just a straight copy of 18 terabytes to my Synology NAS drive. I have that over there. Once that was done and I confirmed everything was there, then I was able to go back and reformat the Drobo from scratch, get everything working perfectly, then copy it back. So now I have that copied and it's back on the Drobo, and that's what I'm using now. And I am also doing a backup. I am 16.26 terabytes into 16 terabytes, but that's the second block. There's already about a 3 terabyte, 2.5 terabyte block that's already done. So the backup is going. Once this is done, then I'm going to invest in another NAS drive that I'm going to do a second backup. So I'm going to back up to the local drive or to the local network, and then to another one that I'm going to keep off site. None of that stuff's cheap, but I gotta tell you, when you're ready to spend $8,000 to $12,000 just to recover it, you can buy a whole lot of drives and a whole lot of technology out there for less money, and you need it anyway. So the rule is 3. You have a local copy, you have another copy locally on 2 different devices, and then you have a third copy. Backups, whether you clone them or back them up or whatever you do. I happen to use Time Machine, and I also use I think it's ChronoSync. And so I got it all back, and now I'm just beginning to edit day number 21. So you've seen all through except for 19 and 20. Those are shorter videos, and I think one of them has a voiceover and one of them is just music. But I'm also paying attention to what you're asking for, and you've been asking for more, longer. So I've got day 21 all loaded in, 2 cameras, 16 videos, so that's 32. It says 17, but I mislabeled them, so there is no 5. So I've got all 16 videos, dual cameras, 32 different videos, all synchronized and all on the timeline, and they're just under 3 hours, which was typical. Most of them were 3 hours. Even those 2-minute videos were cut from a 3+ hour of dual camera, so 6 hours of video. It takes me about 10 to 15 hours to edit one video, whether it's 3 minutes or 30 minutes. You know, I have to watch all the videos multiple times. I have dual cameras and go back and forth to get the right angle. And so you can see on the screen here, if I go back to the beginning, and you will see that I've got the dual screens there, and I'll go back and forth, and I'm going to edit these, cut them way down, of course. I'm not going to leave it 3 hours. Probably going to target a 10 to 15 minute video for the last 13. So you got 2 more shorties coming, and then we're going to get into some longer ones, because again, that's what you're asking for. You're saying, hey, we like watching these, but gosh, I wish there was a little more information. And I was trying to follow request earlier that was, hey, you've already done these, just be quick and just kind of let us. And so I was letting you look over my shoulder. So still going to be looking over my shoulder, but I'm going to have a little more content there for you. So the videos, yes, they were gone, and we were going to be done at 20, and I was just going to have to say, sorry guys, can't be redone, but I've got them back. I've got a copy elsewhere, and I have a backup going, so I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be able to finish these, and it's just a matter of doing them. So again, 10 to 15 hours for each one, and I've only got 2 in the backlog right now, so I may fall a little bit behind, but at least you know they're coming. I'll get this one done and hopefully won't be too far behind with this, and then jump into the next one and the next one. At the same time, obviously I've got other work to do, and I've got other videos I want to shoot and edit and get up to do with some tools that I have that I want to tell you guys about. So there you have it. I just wanted to give you a heads up and mainly say back up your data, because it's very, very expensive if it isn't, and back it up twice, because I had it backed up once and that wasn't enough. And I used good quality drives and a RAID array, which gives me the hardware backup as well as the digital backup. I had it all, and I still lost it all. And it was only with spending a lot of money and a lot of time, because not only did I have to drop $1,000 to get this repair, but I also have probably a month into this where I couldn't do a lot of other stuff. I mean, my data was gone. You know, I was shooting, you know, my photography business, I was shooting new stuff. Fortunately, I had delivered everything previously, so my photos, my paths were gone, but I had delivered everything, so I was safe there. And I've shot a lot of jobs since, and those are all delivered as well. And so I'm okay. I got it all back, which means I got my workbench plans and my smart, you know, all the models were gone. The models for the smart workbench, everything was gone. It was so traumatic that I was not even stressed about it. I was just laughing, going, you know, like when people say when their house burns down, when they lose everything, they say it's, you know, at first it's really hard, but then it's almost cathartic that, oh, well, you know, life goes on. And that's sort of where I got to the point where if I don't get it this way and I do it the next way, the good news about the $8,000 to $12,000 job is they would do the work, and if it didn't work, then I didn't have to pay. So at least if I would have paid that $8,000 to $12,000, I knew I'd be getting all of my data back for it. So, but again, they were telling me there was no guarantee. It was kind of these 50-50 thing. You know, this is clean room kind of stuff. It's real high level. These guys do work for government agencies like FBI, CIA. I mean, these guys are clean room stuff, really super high level, and you pay a fortune, but that's the only way you can get it back. So, good news, the videos are not lost. They've been found, they're backed up, and now I just have to catch up. Well, if you like these 3-minute to 10-minute videos, which now are very expensive and take hours and hours per minute, then if you want to support the channel, be sure to give me a thumbs up, share it with others, and subscribe. And when you subscribe, ring that bell so that you'll know when I put up a new video. And also, you'll find a link to my Amazon store, and if you use that link, you'll get your good guy discount that you already get through Amazon. but they'll give us a little bit because you click through from our store. Thanks for taking the time to watch. Have a great day.